Well, this is a multi-storey car park at the place I thought I would never come to. It's going to be an interesting day, and I'm going to remain positive throughout. We're at Chiang Mai Zoo. Okay, so this is where we're off to. We're off to Golf Car Rental. Let's go and find Golf Car Rental. Aha! It's just there. Yes, darling. We've come from the entrance down there, and it's Mother's Day, bless. So we're having lots of celebratory noises from speakers of celebrating Mother's Day. We're going to rent a buggy. We're going to pay for the first hour, and after that it'll be an extra charge. The first hour is 350, and after that is 300 baht an hour. So I'm in already for 650. I want to see as much as I can today. So where are we? I can see there's a west pointing that way and a north pointing that way. Okay, we've come in over there. All right. So we've got the mini zoo we just passed, came down the hill, and now we're at Hippopotamus. Hippopotamus is over on the right side, because over there I can see it says African. And some people down. Oh, there's some car parking here. A park and a stop, and take the key out. Well, we're going into the African animals area, and it's across a little bridge, and we've caught up now with a busload of people that have paid their 40 baht to come on their bus trip. So I can see here in the African enclosure there's an ostrich, there are 3 zebras, there's a number of antelopes, and not a lot else. I guess when there's water around, the water will be in the moat out here. There's a little stream that runs along, and I can hear some water flowing along there, but it's not very much. I guess the water is here, and it must flood over into the enclosure here. Nè,ทำอะไรล้างจานที่นี่ครับล้างจานอะไรมีอาหารมาจากไหนครับกินที่นู่นใช่ไหมอ๋อเป็นแม่ค้าอยู่ในนี้ค่ะอ๋อจ้ะขายของอยู่ในนี้ค่ะครับผม Oh, there's lots of good stuff here. You can buy at the zoo, you can buy these things here for 59 each, or 3 for 150. Lovely little key rings. Oh, this lady's making a hell of a racket here. What are you selling here? Oh, Yusipha. Mikanom. You can buy little things to eat along your journey. Some more typical Bantawai type selling stuff. Who do you support? What's your team? Well, it's all pretty good stuff here at the zoo. We've got background noises, we've got key rings, sunglasses, we've got hats, we've got baggy trousers, t-shirts. Some extra background noises. There's a rail that goes all the way around the top. Haven't seen any advertisements for that, but this meerkat is temporarily closed. So that's the second enclosure. We didn't see the hippos because they're out of action too. Park Nika? Milo. Do we go up there? Parking area up there. There's some sheep in there. And oh, there's some pandas. Oh, look, there's a panda. I can feel another ticket payment coming on here. Some sheep, and over the far side there's goats having a munch. Plenty of pigeons in the foreground here. What looks to be a couple of lions. Wow, up behind the tree there. I wouldn't mind one of those sheep. One of those sheep would go down nice right now. What you see here is the right side of the enclosure, and if I pan across, this is around about 30 metres to the other side of the enclosure. Well, there's the back end of a lion. He's just gone into, maybe he's washing his face, cleaning his teeth, I'm not sure. He's gone in. Oh, here he comes. I'm not sure as to whether I'm going to enjoy myself. Another day. Oh, look at those people. Oh my God, what am I going to do? Oh dear. I'll just lounge about here and look menacing. Oh, same-o, same-o. What shall I do? What shall I do? I'm going to lay... No, I'll lay down. Okay, I'll lay down. Oh. Well, to me, they look like African female lions. Maybe they're white lions, I don't know. Right next door to the male, so he must be pretty frustrated, sat on his own next door. Well, take it easy on this metal bridge that you have to cross.
Oh, ค่ะจ่ายแค่คนเดียวนี่50 บาทนะอาลี่ของอาลี่ฟรีเพราะว่าอาลี่เป็นคนแก่
Okay, well that's a surprise. I'm over 60. How much did you pay, Di? 40?
50 บาท
50. Oh, I got in free. Di had to pay 50 baht. We're going to see the panda. Pandas? Panda. Panda social distancing. Please disinfect shoes before entering here. Student book number 539. What does that mean? Female giant panda. Her name means forest blessing. Student book 510. Male giant panda. His name means clever. Gang. And born 6th of August 2000. Dirty white long face, bigger size. Habit, naughty boy. Oh no, that's the toilet. Please keep quiet, it says. Oh, you naughty boy. Panda's favourites: an apple, steamed bread, carrot. Steamed bread. Pandas like steamed bread. What's some information here? The giant panda paw has a thumb and 5 fingers. Wow. The pseudo thumb, actually a modified sesamoid bone, helps it to hold bamboo while eating. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go through another door and you've got an identical segment, but from here over to here is around about 25-30 metres. You have the one guy up there. They've maybe had a bit of a feast here with the bamboo and now they've gone to sleep. Yeah. I wish I could sleep like that. That's his little camera. So they can't escape the cameras. The camera right in front of him. Oh, he's changed his cheek. Limping, growing up. None of that. Wow. Eyes open at 44 days. I remember that. There was a big story on the news. The television was full of it. Okay, so here we've got the family tree. Well, I've come to Chiang Mai Zoo. I thought I'd never come. This is a place in redevelopment. Obviously, you know, they've got to make improvements all the time, but so far we've been to a couple of enclosures and there have been 4 closed. There's a big development for the cats on the far side behind me here, behind the camera, but behind me here there is a bird enclosure with 4 birds in. There's a pelican sat all on his own. Interestingly, you know, as well as my world being turned upside down, this map is too. It's a map that is fixed. you know, it's not temporary like this. It is placed here, and it is upside down. Little mammals running around there too. There's nothing in the cages as far as enrichments. There's nothing for these little fellas to swing on or go play with or hide in. It's just a cage with a couple of sticks running through it. Remain positive, Ali. Positive, positive, positive. Well, there's half a dozen macaws in this enclosure. There's some dank water down below. Half the enclosure's water and half the enclosure's raised rock. There's a little bit of covering over the top. Well, that's quite ear-splitting. Really resonates against the hard surface of the constraints of the enclosure. And there's another 2, 4, 5, maybe 6. Well, that's their flying area. It's around about 10 feet across at the broadest and 10 feet back. Not a lot of space to fly, but along the bird area there's no signs telling you what the birds actually are, so you've got to understand what the birds are when you come. Maybe have a book with you. Well, here we have the Longneck Crane. He's doing his mating call and dance ceremony, extending out his long phalanx to attract the female. He's on his own. A bit lonely, I think. Not seen his partner turn up. His call for mating is unreciprocated. Well, sadly today the aquarium is closed. We knew about this before we came, so it's no surprise. I want to show you the water out here and show you the waterfall and the aquarium building. That's the tail of a big white shark, apparently. Plenty of fish bouncing around in the water out here, looking for food and air, I guess. We're a quarter of the way through, and I've got really mixed feelings. You know, on the road, everything's fine. When you look at the cages, the enclosures, sorry to say, the areas are too small. There's not a lot of enrichments for the animals, and certainly not flight area for birds. You know, there's nothing hidden from view. It's not a case of there's a little enclosure there for the birds that you see and then there's something bigger out the back. No. That is the enclosure they're in, and there's 6 in a small enclosure, and that's the only flight area they've got, 10 by 10 enclosure. Anyway, let's carry on, and I'm looking to see the Koala Run. Well, that's going to be interesting. I think that's what it says, or Koala Dance or Koala Run. Okay, Koala March, and then it's domestic goat and hog deer and elk deer and spotted deer. So let's progress onwards and upwards. Let's get in front of that bus. No indicators, no mirrors on these things. Yes. You've just got to take your life in your hands and enjoy the ride. Whoa, come on, whoa, up.
มีรถรางคนนี้ตัดเรื่องนี้จะวิ่งแนวนี้
Here we go. Turn right. Stick your hand out. And I was going to put the indicator on there, but there's no indicator. Let's park just here. Koala. Well, this is the Koala March, it's called, and to be honest, Koalas are up trees. They're slow moving and they're lovely for kiddies to look at, and may it always be that way. Some people choose to walk the route, the exact route we're doing. Some people jump on the electric buses that drive around the shuttles. They do a continuous loop and you just jump on when you've finished what you're doing and go on to the next place. And people like us, we choose to be independent, lazy VIPs, relaxing, no pressure about having to get on the bus, wait for the bus, sitting with other people, happy that you're under your own transport. Why not? It's worth it. Thank you very much. Well, we've now made our way up to the orangutan enclosure. There's a moat around the outside, and I'm looking hard and I cannot see an orangutan, but I can see a great furry monster in the middle. Good Lord, he's a big guy. There's one orangutan underneath that bush in the middle, having a nap.
โซนด้านหน้านะครับจะเป็นโซนของลิงโอรังอุตังนะครับสายพันธุ์มัน
We've got some deer in this enclosure, and here we can walk up and over. There's Samba Deer and Banteng. We can walk up over this enclosure and see what's going on below. That's a human. The human's making the noise, the animals are getting on with just being looked at. There's actually a vet team here. They're trying to catch one of these animals. The guy downstairs with a bucket, he's got a syringe in his hand with a needle sticking out of it. It's wonderful how their colours blend in with the background. Nothing like a good rut in the morning, wake you up and start the day. Oh, look at this little fella down here, I missed him. I can't help but think there's not a lot of education going on here. There is one set of signs at the entrance to this walkway area. There's nothing along the way to identify the different animals. So the purpose of this is purely a display. There's an animal, but if you don't know exactly what the animal species is, you haven't learnt anything. You've merely seen, oh, it's a brown, it's a black, it's a green, and that's it. There's nothing to educate about the animal in place. So you've got to go to the one starting point at the far end of this walkway to understand what these animals are. A lot of them appear in good condition. There's a couple of little pens over there with some isolated with wounds that they've got from their rutting, or maybe they've got a skin problem or other. But generally the animals look in fairly good condition. Maybe the deadly deed was done and the dart was shot. Beautiful looking animal, isn't it? That's a tree. Oh, there's another one over there. There's a lot of concrete here. What's down here? More concrete caves and walkways, arches and faux trees. There's a lovely golden pheasant. Hello. Yeah, I know. No grass, just sand. A 8x8 enclosure, and they're all in there together. There's a Nicobar pigeon. And these guys are allowed out. They're allowed to roam freely in this enclosure outside with these concrete trees. A lot of dead wood here, and these mushrooms, toadstools, fungus are growing on the moist, rotting wood. Yeah, well, there's this lovely enclosure outside for him with lots of climbing frame, but here he is sat up at the back. Well, these fantastic wreathed hornbills, they've got a, what would you say that was, 10-metre circle, like a little circular cage here, and it's 15 feet high. There's certainly no flying going on in there. Well, this is a white-crowned hornbill, and let's just go in and see him. There's the white-crowned hornbill. Looks as if he's on his own. I can't see another one in there. So again, these all these cages around about the same size of 10. Look at the size of this fella here. Beautiful. He's down on the ground. Absolutely fantastic. This is such a huge thing on the top of his head, and you can see him here. He's sat on the floor. He's fed up. Makes you wonder whether he's had enough. Oh, this is so sad. This is really depressing me now. This is the worst part of the visit so far, sadly. This is the Oriental pied hornbill, and you can see that behind we've got one out on his own on the perch there, and in the cage over there he's isolated at the moment. Obviously he's suffering a bit of a problem. They need somewhere to fly, they need somewhere to get out and you know, flap them wings. Okay, so we're round about here. We've made it to just past the hornbill, and if we go down the hill here we'll go to the Indian rhino, Gibbon Island, and Thai pheasants, and then on to squiggly bit round here. So I'm going to enjoy this journey with my co-driver. You can imagine at the height of tourism, you're going to get hundreds and thousands of people going through every day. So that's a nice view down over the city. You can see the Nathaporn Mountains on the other side of the valley. Tourism is alive and well. Domestic tourism is what you see here. People from within Thailand are enjoying their country. They're coming to the zoo, bringing their children. Yes, it's Mother's Day, it's a special day, but it's tourism after all. In my recent video I said, you know, who needs tourism? Well, in actual fact, you've got tourism happening in Chiang Mai in Thailand right now. It's just scaled down. And for a person who's lived here for a number of years, I like it like this. It's a shame that people can't come into the country and enjoy it with us. But I'm enjoying this because there's not overcrowding, there's not too many people here. There's just enough people. That's nice. It's keeping it ticking over. It's nice to have the breeze as you're driving along, coming through the buggy. We're going this way and straight on down. That's great. Australian animals, 900 metres. People are walking along this track, along this road, having to navigate the terrain, the ups and the downs, and the vehicles coming along as well. And I'm over the moon that we chose to have the buggy. Don't you think? Good idea?
Yes.
Good idea to have the buggy.
อากาศดีเนาะ
Agadi. Long Lang Chunjai.
เป็นแกะที่อาศัยอยู่บนภูเขานะครับแล้วก็พื้นที่ชัน45 องศาได้อย่างสบายเลยนะครับโดยเดินทางที่มีลักษณะพิเศษนะสามารถยึดเกาะได้ครับ
Quite disappointed with the lions enclosure, but I then became extremely disappointed with the bird enclosures. The bear enclosures leave a lot to be desired. This is really quite sad, and to see this poor fella here with very little enclosure that is of natural habitat. Wouldn't it be so easy just to give them a little bit more space and therefore give them a little bit more greenery, a little bit more natural shelter that's not damp, give him something to occupy his mind and keep him from going stir crazy. So the bear enclosure, the sun bear enclosure, and this is the Asiatic black bear enclosure next door. There's a couple of fellas in here. This is a little bit depressing. You know, with many furry animals, there's an alac cuddly factor. You know, the red panda, the bears here, the Asiatic and the sun bears. There's a cute factor because we're familiar with them being a cuddly doll, the toys that we've enjoyed, you know, playing with in our childhood and throughout our life, cuddling in bed. The reality is when you come to these little enclosures and you see them, there's not a great expanse for them to walk around. There's no dry places for them to get to without being on rotten wood, moist wood, water that's not flowing, you know, dank water conditions. The reality is, I guess, that we should not have had, as children, these cuddly little bears to cuddle up to, and we should have realised that they were wild animals. And therefore, equally, the paradox is that we shouldn't be keeping wild animals in enclosures like this. They should be in the wild. Once again, education. There's not a lot of information on the site to actually show you what this animal does, how it does, where it does. And when you look at it in its conditions, that's not very nice for children to see, unless you expect them to accept that as the norm. And to me, that is definitely not the norm. Well, who'd have thought it? In the middle of the zoo, there's a temple. What? Ku Din Cow. It's not a traditional sala, lots of gold and ornate stuff. It's a corrugated roof affair with some new bricks and some Buddha images around. But what is interesting is a huge stupa at the back that used to be, and it's now got a lot of moss on it. You can see it was probably in years gone by a magnificent stupa of some sort. Now this fellow we see at temples quite often, but what we don't see is something quite special. Have you seen it yet? I'm very intrigued about this. Look at this. This is a brick. Wow. There's something rather special about that. There's another one across there. Another brick. No, don't make that joke, please. Well, we parked just here and then we put it into reverse to go back a little bit to come out on the other side, and it came forward. It didn't actually go back, and now we're too near to the car in front, and we just stopped the bus to get them to help us, and we've put bricks under the front wheel, and now we've called the office to come up and try and help us. Điกันดีจังเลยดี
ว่ามันน่าจะ
แรงมันไม่พอหรือเปล่า
โอเค
เราก็เที่ยวใกล้สุด
เดี๋ยวผมลองอีกรอบนึง
เราเที่ยวใกล้หมดแล้วนะเนี่ยลองรีเวิร์สขึ้น
There's one elephant in there and all on his own. He's got straw on his head, as they do. But chiangmaizoo elephant. Not interested to see elephant in enclosure.
ดูไหม
No, thank you. No.
อันนี้มังกี้
Yeah, so sad. No trees, just horrible conditions. Be positive, be positive, be positive. I am positive. No, that's a red kangaroo there. We don't want to see those either. The space is just not big enough for them. Okay. Oh.
6 ค่ะ
Bingo! House!
06 แสดงตัวค่ะ
Come to the end of the trip. Overall, I've got a couple of positives out of today, and I've got a couple of negatives out of today. For the animal lover, you know, the naturist in me, the naturalist in me, the person who wants to see animals in the wild, the person who wants to see rehabilitation and conservation, I'm really disappointed. But I'm happy to see some of the animals in a fairly nice enclosure. But I'm really pissed that some of them are in terrible enclosures, and it's not the way that animals should be kept, and they should be housed in far more natural surrounding. The other negatives that I get from today is the availability of information at the point that you see the animal. When you see the animal, you need to actually understand that for an education perspective, because after all, the majority of people who come here are children, and if you're wanting to educate children about animals, you need to pass that information on. Parents, I suggest, don't understand it fully, so therefore there needs to be the signage, the actual understanding of what this animal is all about, and not necessarily just rely on the guide that's sadly going to be sat at the front of the bus, often driving past the enclosure saying, oh, okay, on the right hand side we've got some cuddly toys, and they're red and they're white, and they can be found in this area. Okay, next enclosure is this. So that sort of education isn't ideal. The little boards that you get with species is, you know, this many, this size. They're typically found in this area. That's not enough. So thank you for joining us today on our visit to Chiang Mai Zoo. I found it, let me have a vote now. How did you find it?
positive
You're positive. I'm Harsip. There's some positive, some negative. Oh well. Thanks for joining us again on this video. If you've not subscribed to this channel, please do. Leave us a comment below, give us a thumbs up. Check the description, you'll see a bit more information in there, and check back on a regular basis. You'll see videos by us, released on a couple of times a week. Till next time, stay safe, stay well, bye bye.